The newer Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out in 2023, Honor Among Thieves, that's what it was called. Phenomenal movie. I loved it. The fact that there wasn't given more attention, like it wasn't talked about constantly and still isn't, it just shocks me. It was an amazing movie. I think it was well done. I think it was well acted. I think it looked gorgeous. I think the story, everything about it was perfect. You did not have to have any Dungeons and Dragons knowledge to watch it to enjoy it. I was perturbed by the lack of love that it got. I mean, it was loved, but I mean, it should have been spoken about more. I should have heard people talking about it on every street corner. I should have walked by a street corner and been like, hey, have you seen the new Dungeons and Dragons movie? Honor Among Thieves, it just came out. If I didn't say yes, they should have thrown tomatoes at me. That's how good that movie was. If you do know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, it just elevated it. You didn't have to have background knowledge. But I mean, it was just it was a good movie. Nothing bad to say about Honor Among Thieves. When I found out there was another Dungeons and Dragons movie, I was like, no one told me. No one wanted to let me in. No one wanted to let me in on this. Because as someone who doesn't like remakes and will always say, watch the original one. I love older movies. I like when things were CGI and computer, and you could tell there was love in the directing and the story. It wasn't just cast this person because they're famous and popular. Let's actually put love and depth into this movie. As someone who always says that and wants to watch the older things, I thought, let's watch the original Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's gonna be better because the older things always are. And how can you get better than the perfect movie of Honor Among Thieves, right? So I thought, let's compare. This is gonna be amazing. So excited. I was so excited. Now, when I realized this movie was unbearably horrendous, I was crushed. I didn't even finish it as I sat down to write this introduction. I hadn't even watched it all the way through yet. I have now. Now, to get this out of the way, I love campy bad movies. I want you to know the tone of the movie you're making. It's really rare for me to sit down and watch a movie and be like, that wasn't good. I always have fun. I know a movie made in 2000 might not look perfect. I don't care. I love bad editing. I'd rather you throw a rubber bat at me than CGI edit it, right? I don't care about how things look. I care about you doing the best with what you have. So get that out of the way. I don't care. My qualm is everywhere else, everywhere else, everywhere else. It's it's not good. Let's just jump into this. Quick lay out what's going on for you. It's an empire. It's divided. The empire is called Izmir. There's mages, magic users, and everyone else. Pretty much mages run everything. Everyone else, commoners, have no voice. And Savina,
so that he would leave the state defenseless,
is this young empress. Mages, obviously, she's gonna be a mage. She's in charge. It's like, I I think people should be equal whether they have magic or not. I think everyone should be treated the same. Oh my goodness, the hippie communist horror of it all. How outlandish, how ridiculous, how silly. I bet this goes spectacularly and everyone on the court just completely agrees and that's the end of the movie. Wrong.
The threat of revolution forever.
There is 100% pushback from everyone, especially this guy Profin. Profin is an evil guy. Obviously, he's our enemy. He opposes her probably the strongest. He doesn't think Savina should rule or have the dragon staff. Dragon controlling staff, right? He steals it. Actually, he he steals the dragon wielding staff. He's like, hey dragon, don't you want to listen to me? And lets the dragon out. It doesn't go well. They have to eliminate the dragon. Yeah, like I said, it's a 2000s movie. It looks like a 2000s movie. I do not care. I am not going to harp on the editing, on what the dragon looks like, on the magic effects. I don't care. The issue with the movie, it wouldn't be an issue for me. I would love it. I love this. I don't care. I love it. Sorry, I don't think that makes a movie bad. We're moving past it. I will say, I do wish the dragon was made like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and not computerized, but if you don't have the budget for it, that's fine. I will harp on it when a movie has the budget for stuff and still computerizes it because I hate that. Anyway, So moving past that, taking my annoyance out of the computer dragon away, just looking at the lighting and the editing of the shots, it's bland. It is so boring. I think they relied too much on the fact that they have edited effects that they stopped caring. No shot is imaginative or creative or lit well. It looks bad. Like, so you don't have the money to make a great set. I don't care. Light it well. Make the shots as creative as you can. They do not do that. There's not an attempt made at all. I care your effort, you using what you have. This is a fantasy movie. You should be having the most grand, dramatic shots, and it's not doing anything. It's very, very bland. Maybe they just had a camera on a stick. They just taped it on there and that's all they had. Still could have done more with that, actually. So there's just no cinematic creativity is what I'm saying. How can you have such campy effects and then have no flair with what you can do genuinely? I don't know. Putting this here now, this is a complaint I have every single scene. I won't stop and say it every single scene. I'm saying it now. Boo. When watching the next scene, you're like, this looks bad. I know, babe. I know. Anyway, when they have to eliminate the dragon, blood seeps out into the water, and that, of course, makes the water flame. There's fire in all the water. The people outside, like commoners in the street, are like, those freak mages and their weird science experiments. Gosh, we should get them back. We should get them back. So these two young rogue thieves want to embarrass the mages, want to get them back. They're going to break into the mage school, steal some stuff, embarrass those mages.
With the fire, it won't be heavily guarded.
No.
Think of the challenge, Nails. We pull this off, we'll be the envy of every thief in Sumdal.
Now, as someone who used to only ever play a rogue thief halfling growing up in Dungeons and Dragons, I love this. I love this. Like I said, it's fun-ish. If I didn't have a connection to this movie through Dungeons and Dragons knowledge, it would be nothing. It would offer me nothing. Like, it is not good apart from, hey, you've played a thief before. Look at it on the screen. Who cares? I mean, I do. I think they're cute. I think they're fun. So the two thieves we have are Ridley and Snails. They're gonna break into the mage school, steal stuff, and embarrass those mages. Moving on, Profin is sort of at the mage council. He's like, Savina is super young. You know how young people are. Yes, she'll grow up. She'll grow out of her hippy-dippy, everyone is equal mindset and become an adult, because apparently adults don't care about equal rights. He's like, we don't have time for that. She's starting to sow her seed of equal rights into the people. They're gonna want equal rights now. That's sick and twisted, okay? So we gotta dethrone her. Now, those are like jokes. That's the movie's implication, not mine. I am obviously pro-people revolution. She's not there, but he tells the mage court, like,
If she does not agree,
Our true intentions will become clear.
We will be forced to do whatever we must. What say you?
we need to remove the scepter from her control. And her response to that will be telling. If she doesn't give it up, she's a threat. And if she does, she's mature enough to continue to be shaped by us. And that's why the scepter didn't work for him. The dragon didn't listen at the beginning. She rules, so her influence is sort of stronger. And I think those dragon scepters also sort of have like a vibe check. Anyway, the council, he does get the council to turn against her. She seeks advice from this old guy. He's like, what can I do to stop Profin? Because I want to make sure everybody's equal, and I will die defending this cause. This storyline is very prominent in Dungeons & Dragons. You often run into cities where mages are completely in control. They don't like people who don't use magic. Blah, blah, blah. That storyline is never super strong in the games I've played just because, boring. But anything can happen in Dungeons & Dragons. So plot-wise, you're never going to deviate far from it. So I thought with endless possibilities that would be inspiring. It'd be so much easier to make a good movie because you can do literally anything. And I guess thinking about it now, it's probably an issue that you can do whatever, because clearly it's difficult to execute a movie when you can do whatever you want. just in case you were curious. I need to focus. She's told to outsmart Profin. And there's a rod that holds the same power as the scepter she has, but the difference is it controls red dragons.
Red dragons. If you can obtain it, you could relinquish.
Which I guess are stronger and meaner, and it means you're gonna win if you have it. She can relinquish her rod to him and make it look like she is still on the council, but then get her red dragon rod and win the war and get equal rights or whatever, okay? It's called the Rod of Sorville. Guy she went to guidance for is gonna look through all his books and his little nerd stuff and tell her where it is and how to get there. Now, Profin knows this because he sent his little goblin guy to listen in on this conversation, and the goblin guy runs right back and tells Profin he's gonna be in the magic school looking through the books to get the knowledge of where the rod is. Real quick interjection. God, the acting in this movie is very bad. Nothing matches. There's like a huge contrast in every single character. It's like they're all in different movies. They're all in different genres. People occasionally give good performances in this movie. It'll never match what's going on. It'll never match the tone. It'll never match the other characters. And I get they're all supposed to have completely different character traits. You can have different character traits and be different characters and take things seriously or not seriously as another person and still fit the scene and the tone and match well together in a scene. Literally every movie has people that are different and they match tonally. The new Dungeons and Dragons movie, they're just as different character trait wise. They all fit. This movie doesn't fit. I don't mean these characters are too different. I mean someone's trying to be Disney heartthrob.
Oh, what a relief. I'll be thanking you when they cut my head off.
And then the next character is like giving middle school performance.
Get that back!
And the other person thinks this is a comedy movie.
Catch you. Promise? I promise. Now jump.
All right.
And the other person thinks they're playing a villain in a kid's cartoon.
I must have that rod of Savrail.
I think there's one person who gives a solid performance, but it is so serious that it doesn't fit because no one else is doing well. And this is obviously a director thing and not an actor issue, because even good performances don't come off good because it doesn't fit, nothing matches. It's prevalent in movies that are bad. It's genuinely just you don't know how to mix different character traits and still make a cohesive, same tone movie. They were trying to lean into the classes. I don't mean class like monetary, I mean Dungeons and Dragons classes. I think they were trying to lean into that so strongly that they forgot they have to still make everything match into a movie. They were trying to be like, look, this is Dungeons and Dragons. We have thieves, we have rogues, we've got fighters and rangers. See how different they are, but then they never make it cohesive and match. They wanted to show the differences and make it Dungeons and Dragons, but they forgot they have to actually make it one movie. The goal of making a good movie slipped their minds. They just wanted to slap Dungeons and Dragons on it, which I'm all for. I usually would have loved it if they went campy route, but they tried to do it seriously and it just wasn't good. Two groups of people are at this magic school. They're looking in all the books for the rods. The guy that she went to get counsel from, he's looking through the books where to get the red dragon rod from. And also, we have two thieves that are breaking and entering into said magic school.
We just robbed God while we up here.
Come on, Snails.
I thought you said this was gonna be easy.
Okay, so sometimes this movie is funny and it's only his lines. And also, evil guy Profin is sending henchmen to the magic school to steal the scroll that'll tell them where the red rod is. Okay? As the thieves breaking in, Snails and Ridley.
I said it wasn't impossible.
You see? That's the same thing you said when we robbed that little halfling's house. And who'd he catch? Me. And who'd he beat from the waist down? Me.
They're stealing a bunch of stuff, again, to get back in the mages, embarrass them. They're not doing great.
It's an illusion.
They make enough noise that it causes Marina. She was helping the guy find the scroll location. Marina comes in and she casts a spell to entangle them and she's gonna have him arrested. However, Profin's henchman is there to kill that old guy. So Marina runs away. She's gotta run away and she's got Snails and Ridley in tow. They can't go anywhere. They're magically bound. They're all running away. And because they're thieves, rogues, they are a lot better at escaping situations like this. They guide her and help her escape. And they're being chased by the evil mages. They're framed for the murder of that old guy, so they're all kind of stuck in hiding together, right? And including this guy Elwood, a dwarf fighter. Not saying dwarf as an insult, just to be clear, that is the fantasy title of his race. I'm not saying that, you know what I mean? It's the title of the fantasy race. So Elwood, he's also got involved. He was standing there, the evil mages like fought him also because he was in the way. So he's joining in. They're all just being framed as accomplices. Like I said, I can't insult the storyline because Dungeons and Dragons, anything can happen. It fits. This is how a lot of when you're playing the game, you get background of how all your characters come together. This isn't outlandish. I'm not going to insult the storyline. I actually don't hate it. It's fine. It's cute. Game-wise, realistic intertwining of the characters meeting. Good backstories, fits their classes and whatever. My praise does stop there. Profin is upset they all got away, obviously. He's like, hey, blue lipstick guy, you're a disappointment. He's like, I'm not gonna eliminate you. I will put a creepy, disgusting worm in your brain. I forgot about that. That's okay. And I'll remove it when you get me the red staff successfully. He tells him the name of this tracker he wants him to use to find them. They will hunt that mage down, Marina, and get that scroll back. The scroll, again, tells him where the red dragon scepter is. I love fantasy series. I always have. Well, I'm kind of pretentious and picky about them, but I love good ones. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings girl. The Witcher, to an extent. I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. I love Wheel of Time. I am obsessed with Wheel of Time. I replayed Skyrim an embarrassingly high amount of times. And I'll watch pretty much anything good that gets me into that element. I'll read, well, no, I won't read anything. That's a huge waste of time. It has to be good for me to read it. You know, I'll waste an hour and a half on a campy fantasy movie. But I'll watch subpar stuff. It'll connect me to it, right? It doesn't have to be groundbreaking, is what I'm saying. This is so disappointing. It, again, looks terrible. This is back to no creative cinematic shots. They're in a tavern. All of them are in a tavern. They run away to a tavern. Classic fantasy situation. Old time, you're in a tavern. You didn't put torches in the torch holder? It is just lit. So boringly, so basic. Like, yeah, there are candles on the table, but it looks like they just have one big ceiling light or a big light just pointed at the shot that they're making. There's nothing good. Anyone would do better than this with no budget. Set something on fire in the background. There you go. But like, it sucks. It's upsetting to watch. All you gotta do is put one torch in the torch. Just try, man. You didn't. I'm not asking for anything. Have a torch lit in your tavern. Anyway, they're in the tavern. Marina isn't a revolutionary mage. She's still on the fence of like, oh, magic users are better and you're just a common thief. This is why things aren't working out and you got me in trouble. You can't help. You don't know what you're talking about. They have a spat.
This is an ancient scroll, not a blueprint for a buggy.
Look, you don't seem to know what you're doing, so you might as well let me have a look.
But there's obviously tension. It's obvious Ridley and Marina are going to end up together. Ridley does decode the map. When he does, he disappears.
Can't blame me for trying, at least
She follows in his footsteps and repeats what he says, and they both get sucked into the map. Do Snails and Elwood also do this to go help out? No, they do not. They stay in the tavern and drink and have fun. They don't seem concerned either. In fact, Snails checks out a girl.
With an elf? Oh, you gotta be kidding. The problem with elves is they ain't got no meat on their bones.
Sorry, I am an elf lover before anything else. I'm an elf lover before I'm a person. Always will be. Okay? Elwood, maybe back off. Anyway, when Snails is talking to Norda, the elf, those evil mage people come in.
I need the girl.
Elwood starts a bar fight to distract them and get away and stuff. Grabs Snails and dips. They are outside. They summon Ridley and Marina out of the little scroll thing. Ridley makes Marina explain to them what they got dragged into. I guess they didn't know before about how deep and dangerous the situation is.
Is that all?
Mm-hmm.
How
You lost your damn mind!
Specifically where you see how no one's acting matches each other. None of them are doing a particularly bad job for a movie like this. And they're playing their characters well, but no one is mixing well together. It all clashes. She is very Disney Channel original movie. Lines are very Disney Channel. Snails' character is funny. There's funny moments. It's a good scene. It's conveying their differences.
No way!
No, I told her she's crazy, but she keeps going on about Profian and the Empress.
Profian?
Not tonally fitting though. It's very bad. What they learn in the scroll getting the map. They have to get a thing from a guy in a city.
Oh, it gets better. This map leads to a dragon temple, but in order to get in, we have to get something called the Eye of the Dragon from the guild master of the Thieves Guild in Antius City.
I like the duo, the Snails and Ridley duo is good, it's strong. I think it's acted and the characters, you can tell the characters care about each other. That's done well. Snails wants to leave-ish and, Ridley gets him back.
I'll understand if you don't want to go.
What do you mean I can't go?
There's back and forth and, oh my gosh, this is way too much for us, but, everyone carries on. Oh, the elf girl? Norda, she was the tracker meant to find them. She was listening the entire time. She knows the plot and their plan. I love an elf ranger. I think if I didn't have bias and interest in this due to Dungeons & Dragons, this would be worse, and it's already bad. And Norda's actress is good. She fits her character and what's going on in this movie. Holding on to her with all that I have. I can get excited about elves and rogues, and I think if I didn't have that, there'd be nothing to hold on to. And I think that no one mixing well, the tone never fitting, sort of leads to this movie having no intensity. There is one scene that comes later that actually has you involved, but because there's no cinematic emphasis that helps elevate things, and there's no acting that connects everything together, there's genuinely no intensity in this movie. They're trekking through the city, looking for the Thieves Guild Master that has this red stone that'll get them into where they need to go. Whatever. We're just trekking through the city. We're just trying to look for someone that's going to get them into the Thieves Guild to meet this guy. Leader guy is a creep.
Have such a precious morsel traveling with you.
Ridley tells him he needs the Eye of the Dragon, which is going to be this red stone. Once they get the eye, they're going to take it somewhere else that's on this map, and it's going to get them in to a secret room, and that's where they'll find the red scepter. So it's like a multi-step process. You know how things work. You've seen movies. Anyway, he's like, I need the Eye of the Dragon.
You'll know that the Eye of the Dragon is the prize at the center of my guild maze, won't you?
It's a prize at the end of the maze here. And the leader guy is like, everyone's died trying to get that. It's in the maze, but no one survives. So Ridley tries. It's like game show corny. I mean, okay. Yes, it's traps and Dungeons & Dragons-esque. The way it is filmed, lit, it gives you no genuine intensity that it looks game show corny. The maze I love. There's a maze watch like this in the newer Dungeons & Dragons movie, and it's not just that the set looks nicer. It is lit well, it is shot well, and you can feel how stressed out everyone is, like involved. This is not, you can't hear. Here it's like, whatever, man. I mean, I will give him this. He's creative and smart. He does it the way you would get out of these situations. Granted, his acrobatics must be like 30, because some of this is just over the top. But that's how I played also. He does his smart acrobatics, getting through puzzles and traps and stuff. He gets through it.
Nice.
But when he gets the Eye of the Dragon, the leader guy is like, I've been trying to get someone to get that for me for ages. I didn't put it at the end of the maze, it's just there and I've wanted it. So I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna snag that, and I'm gonna go. And the evil maid shows up.
Who the hell is he? Who the hell are you?
And they don't harm Ridley because Ridley threatens to burn the map that'll get them to the scepter. They have to clear a path. There's fighting, obviously. It's Thieves Guild people versus the mages versus our thief group. Snails saves Elwood. Ridley goes after Marina.
Wait! What about the dwarf? You get the dwarf, I'll get the girl. Wait! How come I always gotta get the dwarf?
Norda shows up. Elf girl. She finds out blue lipstick guy, already took the girl, Marina.
One of your fellow lawmen, in fact, the chief of the Crimson Brigade, beat you to the punch.
Norda cares more about the law, about the good person in charge, than Profin. So Norda cares about finding the rod for a good thing.
He just took off with Marina.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's him.
Only he's not working for the law anymore. He's working for Profian. He's the one you want.
She's not a bad person. She wasn't working for Profin. She just thought that she was upholding the law and they were bad people. Anyway, whatever. So Norda's helping now. We love Norda.
Should they try to escape? Kill them.
They're all going after the rod and trying to find Marina.
I know these lands. There's a shortcut up ahead.
Blue lipstick guy uses the evil tentacle that Profin put in his head to extract information out of Marina. So he knows everything now. He wasn't going to tell everything, but he was like, oh, tentacle, suck it out of your brain. He knows they have the Eye of the Dragon.
You know, it just so happens that I'm single. Can you believe it?
How old are you?
23. Yeah, I know I'm a little young for you. But what if I get my hands on an aging potion?
I'm 234.
Well, damn.
They're fun. They're fun. They get into the camp. Snails goes after the map. Ridley goes after Marina. Snails gets sucked into a trap and found by Dremondor. Snails runs away.
Okay, you win. Game over.
Ridley finds Marina.
Get you out of here. Come on.
They're about to skedaddle when they do run into blue lipstick guy's people. Everyone's fighting their way out. It's just not an engaging fight scene. I am so sword fighter over gun battles, over badly edited magic. Sword fight scenes, I love them. I love dueling with weapons in movies. Like, that's what I want to see all the time. This movie does not shoot it well, but it's shot so boring and bland and like cut away at parts that keep you interested that like it sucks. Anyway, whatever. First time I'm nervous and engaged is when Snails is being hunted down. It suddenly switches to a more serious, violent tone. As Snails gets caught and hurt and attacked, it feels dark and serious for the first time. A movie about civil war breaking out, death and destruction. This is the first time it's serious.
A dragon's eye.
I have it. Let him go first, and it's yours.
And Snails does not survive, by the way.
Snails, don't!
He gets stabbed and thrown over a cliff. Ridley gets stabbed. Marina uses a bag of magic to get away. One engaging character, or, well, he really, like, his dynamic with Ridley was keeping you engaged. So one part of the duo, the one funny character, died. And fine, have one of your characters die. That's fine, but it's just everything else about it. It's just not good. It doesn't make the movie suddenly good that now there's a more serious tone. It feels even more out of place. One good engaging scene mixed in with this corny, never melded storylines and acting. It just... So Savina at the meeting, at the Wizards meeting.
Concern is only for yourselves, not the people.
Evil guy sets Savina up. She's all, people should be equal. Like, yeah, if war is necessary for freedom, I would die for this cause. I will wage war for this cause. This is sort of high school Model UN debate acting going on.
I ask you one last time. Will you submit to the ruling of this council?
That's the acting going on.
I will not leave the Empire at the mercy of an unscrupulous charlatan.
Profin's like over the top. I'm sure it would fit in a movie that's actually been more serious, but he's also a little cartoony. But Profin got everybody on his side.
And a child is not fit to govern an empire.
Of course he did. People in power want power. They don't care about people. So realistic. Two things they've done right. Dungeons & Dragons classes and people in power are evil. Not unrealistic. Anyway, the elven people heal Ridley. They talk about the importance of dragons and how magic is actually everywhere and that elves are magic, don't just have magic.
See, when dragons are born, they bring new magic with them. Magic is the life force of our world.
How dragons are important and magical beings that most people think are evil, but elves know and respect, and that they are important to the balance, right? The red staff that controls red dragons and how it's man-made and shouldn't be messed with or used. It's unnatural to control magic like that.
Listen to him, he would still be alive.
Just because some mages are evil does not mean they all are. I'm not.
It's always disappointing when one of the leads in the movie is one of the weaker performers. Like I said, she's probably doing fine. But again, the lack of direction is making it bad. She's coming off as a Disney Channel original movie. It's not good. She has I've come to realize that the Empress isn't wrong and maybe we are all equal. Snails died for a good cause and you can't give up now. The Empress wants equality.
Protheon seeks to dethrone her because she believes that mages and commoners should be treated as equals. She is fighting to change what you hate so much.
And we should keep fighting for that, and maybe mages aren't always good and maybe commoners aren't always bad. She has that moment, right? They kiss. Oh, shocker. The 4 of them, Elf Lady included, off to the dungeon where they would find the red scepter. Oh, but there's a force field. Only Ridley can get in. Well, shocker. Ridley's meant to do this alone. Ridley goes in, finds the red scepter in a treasure room. He doesn't touch or steal anything else. He goes right for the scepter because this is a cause he cares about. The creator of the rod warns him. He's dead, so it's a talking skeleton, which happens.
Someone worthy of its power takes it. You are such a man.
I don't know if anybody's such a man, but I'm gonna find out.
Like a horrible fate will fall upon whoever wields it for the wrong reasons and isn't meant to. And it's cursed. And Ridley's like, why do you break the curse? And he's like, that's your problem to figure out, man.
How do I break the spell?
That you must discover.
He's a visual on the wall of like turmoil, of if someone thinks of themselves as God, wielding this red scepter, like power kind of corrupts you, and that their destruction will fall on everybody. So Ridley knows this is a concerning thing to have, but he knows he also needs it to help win. So Ridley's got himself the scepter. Back at the city of Izmir, war is raging. Yeah, they move quick. She's got her gold scepter, she's got her dragons out there attacking the Mage Tower. Mage Tower people are fighting back. That's what's going on in Izmir. But back to Ridley. He gets out, going to meet his friends, his pals, so they can get back to Izmir and help. But he's met my blue lipstick guy.
Don't hurt her! Then give me the rod!
And they're holding his friends hostage.
Don't do it, Ridley.
Don't do it, Ridley. God. Horrible Disney Channel acting that does not fit. This is so bad. He does toss the rod over. Of course, blue lipstick guy did not do well on his promise to let his friends go if he does that. He does want to kill them. They'll fight. There's a fight. Norda, of course, pulls her away. Push Marina out of the way because she's useless. Ridley and Elwood help, I guess. It's mostly Norda. Of course it is. Blue lipstick guy gets through the portal and Ridley follows him. Blue lipstick gives the rod to Profin. So that means Profin gets the evil worm out of his head. The red dragons appear. Red dragon battling. There's destruction and war is raging. Ridley shows up. Sword fights blue lipstick guy. Like I said, sword fights are my favorite part of a movie. My bread and butter. I do not need it to be perfectly choreographed. We'll watch anything and it can have bad sword fighting. This is just disappointing. The shots aren't creative. It doesn't bring any anticipation. It doesn't bring any stress. It is so lackluster and boring. And I know you're supposed to cut away during engaging scenes to keep you interested, but it cuts away so quick and before it gives you a chance to be drawn in that it's just choppy and looks bad and does not matter. It's interrupted by even more poorly edited shots of these dragons. Ridley does get revenge for Snails, throws blue lipstick guy off a building. Ridley makes his way to Profin. We have an evil villain versus hero standoff. Ridley loses a sword. He's not doing good. Marina and everyone else shows up. They're not doing good. They get blasted away the second they try anything.
I will become you.
Sabina shows up. Profin summons this evil little skeleton thing to control her actions and is going to kill her. Don't worry, she is strong enough to fight it off and use her little scepter and be smart, and she gets a dragon to eat Profin. Chomps him up. They all fly away. Not the people, the dragons. The dragons all fly away back to safety. War's over. Everyone's at peace. So they're good. They won. Savina gives a speech. You can hear it distantly about the people being equal and war's over. Commoners, mages, no one's better than the other, and we're all going to be treated fairly here. Ridley is at Snail's grave. He's talking to him before he goes to get knighted. He's like, Snail's man, love ya, miss ya, couldn't have done this without ya. You can have the red eye of the dragon. He puts it on his grave because that's the big score that they wanted, you know? And then the eye of the dragon turns red and Snail's name disappears off his grave.
Do not question your gift.
The four of them turn into little dust clouds and disappear. I don't know if they go to see him in the land of the dead. I don't know if they just died forever to go be with him. I don't know if they just saw him for a second. Your little spirits fly away. So don't look at me. I don't know either, babe. That was Dungeons and Dragons. It was almost nothing. There's no funny commentary about it. This was just me explaining the movie to you and complaining. Let's break it down. Now, I'm a little biased because I've seen the 2023 Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I think it's incredible, groundbreaking. I loved it. It was so fun. It was so good. I'm trying not to compare everything to it. I was going to do a compare and contrast because there are obviously similarities, but that would have just made me so devastated. I couldn't do that. This movie, analyzing it by itself. Real quick, plot. It is what it is. It might be the strongest part of the movie. It is Dungeons and Dragons. The writing and plot execution, not good. Dialogue, not good. The execution of said plot was not as strong as it could have been. It did the bare minimum, exploring characters' classes. It was never consistent, tone-wise. Maybe it was a good movie, but the production was just bad, and I don't know what I'm talking about. No. No, it wasn't good. It was all bad. The acting wasn't good. That's been established. No one's performances matched each other. I fear they were all acting in different types of movies. These aren't bad actors, so I don't know what happened. The script is what happened. Directing, that's another point. Was there any? I don't know. I didn't see consistency or creativity. Cinematic shots, whatever that. Bad. I don't care if your movie is campy. Make it good. They just did nothing with what they had. Nothing with what they had. And I think that's the biggest problem. I think they just wanted to rely on the editing. The editing, again, it's not great, but I don't care about that. But they just relied on that too much and then didn't put any effort into what they had control over. Nothing was utilized well. I thought it would be hard to make a bad Dungeons and Dragons movie when I went into this, because like I said, you can do pretty much anything. I've always wanted a Skyrim movie. I have always wondered why there wasn't a Skyrim movie. I would play Skyrim all the time. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And because you can do anything, Skyrim-wise, Dungeons and Dragons-wise, I thought that would not be a hindrance, that you had freedom. Apparently it is a hindrance, because there's too much to do, I guess. I don't know. I'm glad they didn't make a Skyrim movie, because if it ended up like this, I'm devastated. In conclusion, I don't understand. This movie is bad. I don't understand how something with limitless possibilities, all the potential in the world, produced the most bland, boring, unimaginative, not fun film. Analyzing it, it's not good. But just watching it to watch a fun, campy movie, it's silly. You know, like you're still having fun, but analyzing it like this, no bueno. Sorry that wasn't funny, and it was just me being angry about this movie. It was just bad. Thanks for watching. Alright, bye.